Emily carefully guided her wheelchair toward a quiet table near the corner of the diner. Her hands trembled slightly as she balanced a small tray with a bowl of soup and a glass of water. She loved coming there after her therapy sessions because the waitresses always treated her kindly. But that afternoon, 3 young men sitting nearby noticed her and began laughing loudly. None of the customers realized that within an hour, those bullies would deeply regret what they had done. Emily was only 16. A car accident years earlier had left her unable to walk, but it had never taken away her gentle smile. She dreamed of becoming an artist and carried a sketchbook everywhere she went. Her mother worked double shifts, so Emily often visited the diner alone while waiting to be picked up. The 3 bullies kept whispering and making cruel jokes. One of them rolled his eyes every time Emily struggled to move her wheelchair. Another mocked the way she carefully held her spoon. The waitress noticed and politely asked them to stop, but they only laughed harder. As Emily reached for her glass of water, one of the young men walked past her table and deliberately slapped the back of her hand. The glass crashed onto the floor, soaking her clothes. Before anyone could react, another bully slapped her across the face. The entire diner fell silent. Emily lowered her head, trying to hide her tears. The diner manager immediately called the police, but the 3 young men laughed as they paid their bill. "We'll be long gone before anyone gets here," one of them said. They stayed just outside the entrance, smoking and joking about what they had done. Inside, the waitress helped Emily clean her face and brought her another meal free of charge. Emily quietly thanked everyone and tried to smile, though her heart was broken. Several customers felt ashamed that they hadn't stepped in sooner. Almost an hour later, the peaceful sound of motorcycle engines echoed through the parking lot. Nearly a dozen bikers parked outside the diner. They weren't loud or reckless. They simply walked inside together, wearing leather vests covered with charity patches supporting children, veterans, and people with disabilities. Their leader, Mike, immediately noticed Emily sitting quietly with red marks still visible on her face. He gently asked the waitress what had happened. After hearing the story, his expression changed from concern to disappointment. Mike walked over to Emily and knelt beside her wheelchair. "Are you okay?" he asked softly. Emily nodded, although tears returned to her eyes. Mike smiled kindly and said, "Nobody deserves to be treated like that." As the bikers were comforting Emily, the 3 bullies looked through the front window and recognized that everyone inside was now watching them. They laughed nervously and decided to walk back into the diner, pretending nothing had happened. The room became completely silent. Mike calmly stood and faced them. "We heard what happened," he said. "You're going to apologize." One bully tried to act tough, but seeing a room full of calm, confident bikers standing beside a frightened, disabled girl quickly changed his attitude. None of the bikers threatened them. None of them raised a fist. They simply stood together, making it clear that bullying would not be ignored. The diner manager informed the young men that security cameras had recorded everything and that police officers were already on their way. Suddenly, their confidence disappeared. One by one, they turned toward Emily and quietly apologized for their actions. Emily looked at them for a long moment before speaking. "I forgive you," she said softly. "But I hope you never make another person feel this small." A few minutes later, police officers arrived and reviewed the security footage. The 3 bullies were taken outside for questioning while their parents were contacted. As they left, every customer remained silent, realizing how quickly cruelty can destroy someone's dignity. Before leaving, the bikers surprised Emily with a new professional art kit after learning about her dream of becoming an artist. Mike smiled and said, "The world needs more people who create beauty, not pain." Emily hugged him with tears of gratitude. Months later, Emily held her first community art exhibition. The diner displayed her paintings proudly on its walls. Many of the bikers attended the event, cheering louder than anyone else. Emily looked around the room and realized that one terrible afternoon had introduced her to people who would become lifelong friends. If this story touched your heart, tell us in the comments. Would you have stood up for Emily if you had been in that diner? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story, because one act of courage can remind someone that kindness will always be stronger than cruelty.